Good evening. I thought it was time for another walk in the garden in the cool of the evening. There's no need for fig leaves where I'm in my religious habit. Um, I'm actually standing in about 6 inches of ivy. But I think the Rubens, as you see there, is growing. It's growing all the time. There are these three-cornered garlic. There are lots of these. They've put up a lovely display. They're a lovely little plant. They're entirely edible apparently, although I haven't tried to make pesto from them. But they're called three-cornered because I don't know if you can see in this, get into focus. They're a triangular stem. But just look at if you can see the actual, do you see the actual blooms? They're absolutely lovely. And then they've been joined by what is perennial cornflower. It's kind of, or mountain knapweed. It's a weed really, I suppose, but it's related to cornflower, the actual flower, the blue flower that grows in corn, and that's where it gets its name. It's the same family or genus or whatever, but it's southern Europe it comes from, but it makes a home for itself in Scotland, and of course looks very much the thing. There's lots of that, and it's in the bed as well, and it's very welcome. Now the other thing here at the base of the tree is just hiding away, I mean the vinca and so on, is some lily of the valley. Look, it's just coming. Can you see it? There's a few plants there. I sowed them. So they're a bit sort of overwhelmed. Another one there. Yeah. They're a lovely thing as well. And there's a viburnum up on the bank that I think I planted on the advice of a landscape gardener. There's two of them, I think. Well, only one of them is in bloom. I can't remember which particular viburnum it is, but it's doing well. It's doing very well. And then over here, there's this lovely plant which I'm not sure what it is. Somebody planted that, I think, when we first planted the garden. It's like a daylily, except that it's not. Well, I'm not knowing much about daylilies, but it's some kind of a lily. But it will stay in bloom now for a month or more. These lovely yellow blooms will come. So they're beginning to come now, but there's a whole lot more of them. So that's a lovely thing. And then there's the white bleeding heart. Apologies to Jenny and Lee, they have a red one, but I think this is much classier. That's done really well. That's been there for weeks now like that, which is great. And then these are my pride and joy, my hostas, which were little things which were just little spiky things the last time you saw them. And here they are, and this is the biggest one always. I think it's got to do with the light, but it's always the biggest one. But you see how they've grown. They grow all the time, even since yesterday. I can see a difference. And what else is here? Well, it was mentioned in the decanter. There's that passion flower in the background there as well. But then the wisteria. The wisteria is doing really well. It's a white one, and it's forming. Its leaves have come out, and it's even forming. I don't know if you can see there. It's beginning to form actual start. I think that must be the start of the actual flowers. But that's growing there behind the wolfsbane, which is beginning to come towards forming the kind of spikes. And there's a couple of little hostas either side. I found, because I thought it was lost, the bronze fennel, which is there, which will grow tall in time. And somebody told me where I could get plants in a shop the other day, and helped me get them. So there's several little bits of colour on this is Nemesi or something. I've got it in blue as well and white. And then this is I think a globe thistle. I can't remember, but it seems to be coming well this year. And there's a little, you see there, underneath there, hidden there. There's a that's oh no, I have to look up the list. What that's called, I should know. It's well, I'll come back to it in a minute when we come. It's an astrantia, yeah. I've said there's several different ones in the garden. That's one. Some of them are called ruby. I think this one is called ruby. I probably have to do a little bit more weeding that this way. But I have been doing a bit of work in the garden. This is everlasting sweet pea, which is making progress, and that'll be right up the wire there, up to the top, and there'll be white flowers in it in a month or so. And this is wormwood, I think. I have another bit of it at the other end. It's got that kind of, it's got that kind of, I suppose, fragrance or bitter kind of, unusual kind of smell. And there's another astrantia here, I think. And then more of the perennial cornflower. And then coming along here, now we've got to change my page here because I forget things. The Mombretia, that grows wild there, and I like that because I used to have it as a kid at home in the garden. But it'll be bright orange stalks in a while, and there's several clumps of it. They've just seeded themselves, and I've left them. And then there's some fuchsia, and then some wallflowers. Those red ones, the Fire King, I think it's called. That's been great for the last month or so. Just a splash of colour, and there's some more. They're mauve wallflowers. And this iris is going to come into bloom very soon. I took the pots down off the top of the wall and put things like fuchsias into them and lobelia and various things, bits and pieces that were there already, and they should all sort of bring a lot of colour. Soon, the Romnea is growing every day, and that'll grow up and be tall and have white flowers in about July. See these are kind of coloured irises, I think, as well behind. And there's a rose there growing against the wall, which I'm hoping eventually will make a big cover, will grow properly on that wall. There's there is here somewhere as well, but it's very hard to see, another astrantia which has been there for a long time, and I was worried that it had got killed with frost or something, but it hasn't. It's there. I repotted these agapanthus. These are the blue ones. There's a couple of them in pots there, 1, 2, 3. They were in smaller pots, but I'll put them in there. There are larger agapanthus growing here too, but they don't seem to come into flower. I don't know why. But there are agapanthus there at the back. And there's some white ones that I haven't got. This clematis has been very good the last week or two. It's growing well, and there's also growing up through it is that long stem. That's purple top verbena, which I like. It's really supposed to be in like a castle garden or something where you get a huge space and it's at the back of a big bed. There's thyme, and there's more of those agapanthus that never seem to bloom. And you'll notice maybe that the lovage is now cut down because it was covering up and stopping other things growing. I think I'm going to put that in the far corner of the garden. There's a space down there in the corner, because I don't think it'll, it's in the wrong place there anyway. And then moving along, that's that other clematis, which is nearly coming to the end of its blossom. And there's the arum lily, which is forming new flowers. There's going to be loads of those, because there's that one, but all these ones, the leaves sort of curl up into flowers. And then there's fuchsias and things in pots, and various little bedding plants that my friend got for me. I didn't show you my sweet peas. You see there's some there. And I've got two of these frames there, one further down. This one, do you see? Somebody got me sweet peas. I think they came from the south of England, so they're settling in here. They seem to be, I think they're going to be blue. if I remember rightly. But anyway, hopefully they'll grow up on that frame. And then we have, I have some. Oh, this is one I like. This is Rocket. Um, Again, I got that from someone who gave it to me before, but it has a really strong flavour when it gets going. It's lovely, and there's things like I have a bit of a petunia growing in that pot that I got somewhere in a second-hand shop one time. And then the other week we had to get help really to someone to cut back this thing, this clematis. See the dark green one? That's a Cirosa, I think Balearica or something. It grows like crazy, and it grows right up to the top. You can see the bend in the pipe there. But it's supposed to have pale cream flowers, which it has had, um, sort of around January, but not a lot. It's all growing though. The Virginia creeper, and then over here there is jasmine. That's actually growing quite a lot. Now I think it's the officinale one, but I'm not sure. I have to wait till it kind of comes into bloom. But you see, it's growing there, and it's actually grown up through the kind of dead Montana, Clematis montana that's there. And then look at the growth on the, see little bits of growth on the passion flower. See how how it's forming things. It forms little flowers. You see the way the leaves sort of clump together. And that'll start, I suppose, next month or maybe a bit later. That'll start blooming, and then this Montana has been blooming, and it's now, I suppose, coming to the end of that. But that's done really well. So there we are. This is the garden, and just I hope you notice how tidy everywhere is, and how I have swept everywhere. I haven't done all the weeding, but everything, there's no mess of leaves or anything, so nobody will have to come and clear away leaves later on. So there we are. There's a magpie down there in that corner under the tree, but we can't see him now on this. But he's a permanent resident, along with the two squirrels and the two robins in the holly bush. Anyway, I hope you have a nice evening.